Next up, it's an issue that's as elusive as it is ubiquitous: how to deal with the epidemic of gun violence in this country after virtually every mass shooting, like the one at a Boulder, Colorado grocery store last week, killed 10 people, and the one at 3 Atlanta area spas that left 8 dead the week before. We resurrect the debate on gun control. And every time, despite overwhelming support from voters for measures to expand background checks, even among Republicans, the reforms go nowhere in Congress. But earlier this month, the House passed 2 bills that would close loopholes for purchases made online and at gun shows and lengthen the time window law enforcement has to conduct the checks with some GOP support. And yesterday, President Joe Biden said this time will be different, citing his efforts to help pass an assault weapons ban in '94, which later expired.
I'm the only one's ever gotten passed, man. Everybody keeps wondering whether I'm scared about dealing with rational gun control. The only gun control legislation ever passed is mine. It's going to happen again.
But is it? I'm joined by John Rosenthal. John's co-founder of Stop Handgun Violence. John, good to see you.
Thank you.
You know, John, every single time I've spoken to you since Sandy Hook, I'm sure I have said to you, if Congress won't act after 26 and 7-year-olds are executed, they will never act. Am I about to be wrong?
I think never is a very long time. But between the time that those 20 babies were killed at Sandy Hook with a AR-15, that their parents had to identify them by their clothing because they were indistinguishable looking after being shot with 3 to 11 rounds, I actually thought that, in the hundreds might make a difference. And then Las Vegas happened. 558 people shot, 60 dead, and Congress did nothing. And this year alone, just in less than 90 days, there have been 117 mass shootings of 4 or more people, 130 killed, 464 wounded, and in the last week since Boulder, 15 more mass shootings. I'm glad the president's talking about it. I hope the Democrats who've been intimidated into submission for decades are now going to act. And Republicans, those spineless Republicans who frankly kowtow to the gun lobby, who want to increase mass shootings in order to increase mass, sales of mass weapons of mass destruction. I mean, shame on them. There are more people that support our position. I think it's possible, but it's going to take a whole lot more dead people in order to get there.
So we know background checks, 90% support or thereabouts, including not just Republicans, but members of the NRA. Assault weapons have been used in so many of these mass killings, and high-capacity magazines. Speaking of those Republicans, I won't use your adjective, that's for you. Here's part of the reason why Republicans won't do it, courtesy of Lindsey Graham on Fox News Sunday. I want to get your response to him. Here he is.
I own an AR-15. If there's a natural disaster in South Carolina where the cops can't protect my neighborhood, my house will be the last one that the gang will come to because I can defend myself.
What do you say to Senator Graham, John Rosenthal?
Well, look, I'm a gun owner. I own a shotgun. The chances of me hitting a target are a lot higher with a shotgun that sprays than a military-style AR-15 that he probably rarely ever shoots, and it's a weapon of war. I would say that you don't need an AR-15 to hunt. In fact, you're not allowed to hunt with an AR-15. In fact, law enforcement are given 13 to 17 rounds in their service weapons. Yet, when you hunt deer, you're limited to 5 rounds, and you hunt duck, you're limited to 3 rounds to protect the duck and deer population. We have to get our priorities straight, and we don't need an arms race in order to do it. And every single state that has a ban on assault weapons and a background check requirement has lower gun death rates than every single state that has lax gun laws, like Lindsey Graham's state of South Carolina.
John, if Congress continues to be as spineless, and I am totally with you, as they have been for so many years, Joe Biden is talking about taking some executive action. The only executive action I've heard him or his spokespeople mention is doing something about weapons brought in from overseas and potentially banning, I guess, 3D constructed weapons. In your estimation, does a president have broader powers to act on the gun front than he's proposing?
I doubt it. If he had them, he would. He was Obama's point person on gun violence prevention and gun laws. And I would say that in the absence of, Democrats finding their spine and standing up to potential challenges in the courts, I would say that Massachusetts, urban Massachusetts, is the model for the nation. We are an urban state. We have the most effective gun laws. We have the first in the nation consumer protection standards for the firearm industry that can't be sued for making products that are designed to kill a lot of people quickly. And if we replicated our Massachusetts gun laws, which, by the way, have resulted in a 40% lower rate of gun deaths in the years since we passed these laws, if we were to replicate these laws, 27,000 deaths could be saved a year if every other state had the same laws and the same low gun death rate. At the same time, until Congress finds its backbone, states can do something. Massachusetts has done a lot, but it can do more. And here's something that's entirely twisted. We have the lowest gun death rate in the nation, the most effective gun laws in the nation. We're a model for the nation for reducing gun injuries and deaths, yet Massachusetts gun manufacturers make and market more firearms than any other state in the nation. And Smith & Wesson per se alone made the AR-15 used at Parkland, made the AR-15 used by the Joker in Aurora, Colorado. We need to ban the manufacture of assault weapons in Massachusetts that can't even be sold here because of our effective ban.
30 seconds. Has that been proposed on Beacon Hill?
We are working with members of the legislature to propose it as we speak.
Love the idea, John Rosenthal. Keep at it. I know you will. Thanks so much for your work. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jim.